Okay, you have a 5-minute limit. You come to the front of the room, state your name, where you're from. You get to speak one time, and the board will not comment. And we'll take your comments under consideration, and the rest of the room will be respectful when they're speaking. Okay, we're open for comments.
I think, Kurt, were you there for the transmission line meeting for a little while?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought I saw you.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, both of you, and Dan, all three of you, for coming to that. It was we of course had no idea what was going to be going on. It was an interesting meeting. Appreciated you guys just being there so you could get up to speed with everything and with this 15-year-old company. And it was a big meeting. There was a lot of people there. It was bigger than what most of us thought it would be. So anyhow, thank you for coming and just learning. And Bill, you stayed afterwards, so you might have learned some things that we didn't get to hear. And of course you're going to share them with us this morning, right?
It was interesting.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Heather Knibble from Rural Trail. So I wanted to get back, I know it's been a while since we've talked about a moratorium or a wind ordinance, so I know you guys can't comment, but wanted to get back into that topic. I guess the one thing that brought it to mind is, so today you guys are going to talk about a RAGBRAI ordinance. RAGBRAI is going to be, Catherine was just saying, what, less than one day that they're going to be here, and you guys are going to have an ordinance for that put together. Our wind ordinance is very, very old. I know you guys know that. You know, it's 24 years old. We really need to get back to looking at it. I know you guys are looking at solar. We have to look at that. And one of the other things we need to look at with an ordinance would be battery storage. So there's a MISO interconnection, which is how things are interconnected. Right now there is a battery storage and a wind MISO study for your Toledo substation that they're planning to do studies and to do that. So if you don't know much about battery storage, I would recommend researching, having the zoning administrator research. Battery storage is pretty risky. It can explode, and I think your substation right now, if it goes in the same spot, is right by, isn't it, by the county shed?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's big. Battery storages can be very dangerous. You can't put them out. I think it's something you guys really need to think about. It might be good to see. You know, I haven't personally started researching other counties to see if they have battery storage in their ordinance, but I think that's something we better look at. I mean, how does that work with insurance if you got county employees working there? I mean, do we want that in our county? And I know Karen had mentioned ITC. This is ITC transmission. Is the ITC Midwest, that is who is looking to do that. So it kind of makes, I don't know if that's connected to what that meeting was last week. I didn't make the meeting, but I mean, it's your Toledo substation and it's ITC Midwest. So it kind of makes sense. They're putting a big transmission line. Again, don't quote me on it because I don't know any of this, but they're potentially upping it to put a battery storage and wind. So it's another area. I mean, that's kind of over here, so I don't know if that's going to run where that line would be, but that's something to keep in mind. And again, if we're going to look at it for RAGBRAI, why not at least get public opinion? You know, like your solar meeting, it was just an informational. Why not do that on wind? You know, even for not approved projects, let's just look at it again. Does it hurt anything to just see what the community thinks? I mean, we can be very peaceful, and you know that solar meeting was good. You get everybody's opinion. Everyone gets a chance to weigh in, research what other counties are doing. I know, you know, it's not always the funnest to hear about what other counties are doing. I know you mentioned, Bill, but Buchanan County, they did just do a moratorium. So instead of just trying to update the ordinances, they just did a moratorium. On top of that, they're also going to each big city in Buchanan County. They've done Brandon, they've done Raleigh, they've done Independence. They're going, and the supervisors actually host little sessions to discuss the potential wind project that's trying to go through there. So they let the people come, let the people speak. I think the first one in Brandon was like 200 people, and majority were against it. So awareness, just, you know, understanding you guys are elected to serve the people. You know, I've hardly seen anyone here that wants wind. If there's no one here that wants it, yes, maybe we have a bunch of easement holders, but once you sign, you get a gag order. You know, you can't speak out against the project, right? You kind of remove your right. There may be signer's remorse, I don't know. But those people, if they're wanting it, they'd be here for the moratoriums, for the different, you know, we've had a lot of different wind topics, and there's nobody ever here besides outside the county that speaks up. So something to really think about. We need you guys are elected to be here to represent us, our health, our safety, our well-being. I mean, it's something we need your guys' help with. So appreciate you looking into that, and you know, maybe at some point getting a moratorium or an ordinance out there. If you've read the news some, I'm sure, I mean, that might kind of change your decision. Really research what's going on in the county. There's a couple lawsuits out there in Tama County District Court. Read what's out there. You know, make your own opinions of what's going on, and is now the right time to protect our county. So, appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
I'm Janet Kuchera, Toledo. We want to put a park bench in the courthouse square. And it will be a granite bench, and that will be the we want to remember the Toledo Public School. So I'm asking to, a bench like this.
Okay.
Granite.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Nice.
Okay. So I'm asking for a bench in the courthouse square.
Okay.
Okay. We have that on the, yes, we've got that on the agenda.
Yep.
Okay.
It's on the agenda, yep.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But you all out there is a bench with 4 legs.
So, is a group paying for it, or is the county gonna buy it, or what's the,
We're paying for it.
well, how can anybody be, never mind.
Which group are you with that's the we?
Pardon?
Which group are you with that is we?
Class of 1958 through 1962.
That's so nice.
So we're just getting a bench to memorialize the Toledo Public School.
Awesome.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Janet, I think you've already talked to Dirk Hanley about where you might put it, so she's already done that.
Yeah, and Dirk's talked to us.
Yeah, yeah.
Give us his opinion.
Okay, that's great.
Possible to put a fire pit there, too.
There'll have to be another class.
Just an idea.
Hi, Janet Wilson from Cloutier. Heather mentioned what's going on in other counties. Woodbury County is a step closer to having an updated wind ordinance. Supervisors there on May 16th unanimously approved a second reading of this new setback ordinance. The minimum setback from a residence will remain at 2 miles. So they've always had a 2-mile setback. What they changed was setback from conservation areas, and and they amended that from a half mile to 1 mile. The third and final reading will be on Tuesday, May 23rd. That'll be tomorrow. We get a lot of public comment, and we move forward with what we think is best for the community's needs and wants, said their board chairman, Matthew Ung. And I say increasing the setbacks can help reduce some of the problems associated with turbines, such as the shadow flicker, the infrasound, and the trespass zoning. So, good for Woodbury County. Thank you.
Good
I
morning.
missed, was Dan sick or?
No, he's
Away
Okay.
somewhere.
Camping?
Camping. Yeah, with some, yeah.
Glamping?
I can't remember my own schedule, but I know he's gone.
That's fine. Good morning, board.
Hmm.
My name is Lynn Shuzik, I'm from Traer. I found another 2 cents to talk about. It was brought to my attention last week that another easement was filed on Highway 8, just to the east of my home, by another absentee landowner for a wind turbine. I ask you, is Highway 8 the new corridor for these energy projects? The high voltage transmission electrical lines were placed about 3 to 4 years ago by Alliant Energy, just about a quarter mile south of where I live. We were told at that time it was to upgrade the infrastructure. And in all fairness, prior to that, we had a lot of power outages. Since we've had the high voltage lines put in, we've had 50-mile-an-hour winds come in, and we've maintained our power, which that's the good part of it. But in reality, these transmission lines are used to pave the way to be invaded by these energy projects. These energy companies are targeting the absentee landowners in this county. My opinion is we need an amendment in both the wind and the solar ordinances that these absentee landowners should have an established residence in this county. They need to have some of their own skin in the game. They're forcing the rest of us to live by these monster energy projects. So let's be fair here. These landowners should have a residence here in this county so that they can share in the fun of living next door to their projects. Maybe then their energy checks wouldn't look quite so lucrative to them if they had to live by them. Thank you.
What company did they sign that easement with? You know?
I can tell you, it was just brought to my attention last week.
The one that's on that side of the county that was told that they were stalled and went away, it was that one.
So they're still there.
Yeah, November and March, new easements came through.
I think it's interesting that they're targeting the absentee landowners. I mean, it's devious in my opinion. I just feel that they should have some skin in the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they're forcing us to live by it, why shouldn't they?
You just wanna see what's gonna be on that bench, it's kinda cool. Pass that around.
Hi, Tammy.
I always find Craig tells me about that. Yes, he's not. Right? That's all I got right now. Still tired.
Did you go down? No. Ben had
Where's it at? Yes. By accident?
No, I think it was something that was just on my desk. No, 66-foot of right of way.
Yeah, that's one.
Fence line, yeah. That's all we're doing is trying to get reclassified. So they get gravel on it. Kinda sounds like a lot of people from using that road for the detour, which I don't understand. So, again, since we just poured money into a pool, there's no sense in moving gravel out.
I agree.
Yeah, there. Roads out there that don't have 66. I was wondering. Just mowing some of them, you got in there in your banks and it looked like this, and you got a little ditch.
Nope, I agree.
So, yeah, I think we'll just, yeah, we'll reclassify it. And we're gonna pay for the ground.
Yeah.
Not you. I just can't, because he said something about that. I wouldn't mind. That'd be silly. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I always wait till this is,
Save the best for last, is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
I would never say that. Richard Art from Dysart/Cooter. You know, you guys realize there's a lot of litigation going on, and I cannot speak to any of that. But my question to you is, at what point in time will the county attorney be involved with all this litigation? And I know you can't respond, but I believe it's time that he becomes involved with some of this litigation. And it'll be interesting to see how it all turns out. That's my opinion. So, have a good day, guys.
Thank you, Richard.
I didn't even use my 5 minutes.
Not even close.
Yeah.
I had you on a clock yesterday. Richard was our pastor yesterday.
Yeah.
He did a great job.
They let me have the whole hour.
Yeah. And he used the whole hour? Yeah.
Yep. I had one of the kids that came up for children's sermon, his father talked to me afterwards, said that kid was sitting, you know, when I was reading the full sermon, he was sitting at the edge of his pew listening so intently.
Really?
He just wanted to hear everything I said.
I think it's the beer draws the kids.
It could be. That and the fact I had treats for all
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I bet you had treats for him.
You bet. And when the kids came up, I took them back where I had the treats, and I told them, I said, you take 3, but you make sure you give 1 to your mother. And so on the way out, I said to the mother, I said, did you get some treats? She said, I got the 2. So, that's fun.
Where's our church? We're here every Monday.
The church was locked up, I couldn't get in.
Thank goodness that family was there, Richard.
What?
The Rocky family, if they weren't there, that would have been pretty sparse.
Yeah, it would have been, everybody else had heard that I was speaking, so.
Oh, they were and they forgot to tell you.
But
Yeah, I didn't know, but I still would have came.
I had worked at Rocky funeral, so they had all seen me for the visitation, for the funeral, and then yesterday. And I told him, I said, 3 days is enough.
Yeah, you're gonna get sick of me.
So,
It's getting to be summertime, so.
yep, that's the way it usually is.
It goes down.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Yep. I really don't, I get uncomfortable there when there's not enough people there, cause people might hear me sing.
Why do you think I turned away from the mic?
Just need to lip sync.
There you go.
Hey guys.
Heidi. Heidi.
Standing up and talk today too. So when you say you'll take comments into consideration, when will you consider them? Will you talk amongst yourselves and then come to a decision like during one of our meetings? Or will you consider them individually and possibly someone will add it to an agenda to discuss further later on? It just, you say you'll take stuff into consideration, but you've also said in a previous meeting you would talk during the work session at 8:30, and you haven't done that except the one time I asked specifically for a follow-up. And then along those lines, I would like to follow up and ask again if you would consider adding microphones and speakers so that in the room everybody can be heard, whether they're, talking up here, talking out there.
That would be Dan.
I would just like you to consider that again, separate of the live streaming requests that's been happening before.
Boardroom dismissal.
Thank you.
Hey, Dan, just a second here, I'll put you on speaker.
And while I still have part of my 5 minutes, I would also
Are
like
you
to
there?
request, when you guys aren't
I'm
here,
here.
to call in earlier in the meeting, because technically your meeting starts at 8:30, so Dan missed all our public comments. So,
Yeah.
I think that's been mentioned before, but yeah, when you guys aren't here, call in a little earlier than the agenda time, because public comments are something to be considered even when you're not, if you're not here, you can't consider them, so, thank you.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing great.
Are you resting?
Not yet.
Okay, when did you get there?
We got here a little after lunch yesterday.
Ah,
Got the other things set up. You know how it is. Takes about a day to get ready and about 2 days to have fun, about 2 days to get back home, get things back to normal.
uh-huh. How long you down there for?
We're gonna come home on Thursday.
Thursday? Okay.
I'll be able to come in on Friday. and
Oh,
approve the
okay.
Agenda for next Tuesday's meeting.
Yeah, okay.
So was that Laura in the background saying I missed something?
Just public comment time.
Was there anything new that I should know about?
Wind ordinance.
Wind ordinance, want to do something about it.
Okay.
Park bench.
And a park bench, yes. That we had talked about.
Yeah, we talked about that, the one that
Yeah.
Janet Kuchera asked about. She's gonna come in. Is she
Yeah,
there?
she is here, yes.
Good morning, Janet.
Good morning.
Yes, and she talked to us about it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, we've got it on the agenda to act on that. So,
That's great.
yeah.
RAGBRAI.
Oh, and RAGBRAI was brought up. Yeah,
Catherine was here.
Catherine was here talking, giving her economic development update.
Oh, so she's not coming in at 9:45?
Yeah,
She is.
she'll be back for that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was just giving us her economic development update.
Okay,
Kind of about RAGBRAI, and the juvenile home property and stuff.
okay.
So, but yep. So. I got about a minute, Dan, and then we'll start a regular meeting.
That sounds good, Bill. Thank you. Now, we wanted to do something around Memorial Day, but, on Memorial Day, we do a lot of cemetery, visits and we had to do the honor guard at the Legion. 5 of those due, we got
Wow.
flags put up and flags taken down, so we're pretty busy over Memorial Day
Yeah,
weekend. So,
it'll be a busy one.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's always pretty busy, but
Yeah.
we enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have 9:30, we'll start a regular meeting. Can I have a motion to approve last week's, the minutes from the May 9th solar and the last week's minutes?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve May 9th solar minute meetings and last week's meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Ben, engineer.
Got,
Morning, Ben.
morning Dan. I got a utility, from Medicom. It's mostly just for, they're gonna dig under a culvert, but it's under a state highway, but,
Okay.
it's kind of right, so just county action right here. And, which, no
Okay.
issues on my end, so.
What's that?
Got a few papers today. There. Here you go, Kurt.
Thank you.
Alright. So just kind of update what's going on. Blades are done kind of prepping most areas. They're getting dust control. Central Iowa will start tomorrow with their dust control. On 180th Street, east of Highway 3, we're planning to finish up that kind of mile ditch work there, probably midweek here. And then for the Toledo Bridge, most of the deck's been removed on that. This week they'll continue removing beams and all that sort of stuff to hopefully get pile driving sometime here soon. And then got to add in the paper for the assistant engineer, and then we'll also be looking for a motor grader operator at the trailer shop. He had taken a position at Grundy, so so we got a new opening there. So
Jake?
So we got,
yeah,
okay, Jake.
Yep. So
Okay.
he's moving to Grundy. So
Okay.
gotta have a chat with Gary on Wednesday. Stealing our employees.
Yeah.
So, we got here the kind of the 4 10-hour days.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those will start May 5th.
June.
June 5th. Yes. So here's another one for your signature.
That there we need to approve.
What did you decide with? Are you leaving Shane on, or?
Yeah, he'll do the
Okay.
5
Good.
the 5 days a week.
Okay.
Just-
Because if
So-
not, then it's,
Yeah.
because they're all union, then we have to switch to 10-hour benefits.
Yeah.
So,
So then, yeah,
that's good,
Well,
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
need him for
So,
this bridge project and stuff,
so do we wanna have a motion to approve the 10-hour days, 4 10-hour days?
I'll make that motion, Bill.
I'll second it. It's kind of weird.
Oh, you don't work as a road crew anymore. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve 4 10-hour days for the secondary roads. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, now you've got one other one I think you need to
Yes,
act on.
so with the rock on 340th Street, I know I talked with Carl, and I have the I don't know if you guys have, I sent it to you guys as email, but the kind of the road improvement request policy.
Yeah.
So but just on our ordinance for level Bs, we talked about that we would not, there will be no surfacing material applied to areas, if it's a level B road. And this is a level B road, it would have to be improved,
Yeah.
to level A. So I'll be talking with Carl about, I got a price. I kind of did a cost estimate, for just kind of, talking with Tim, what we'd need to kind of improve that road and make it a level A. And down there, there's, the bridge is pretty high, but everywhere around it floods pretty well, so we'd kind of have to, raise the road and actually, if we're wanting it to be a level A and one where we're not gonna just put rock on and then lose it all, we need to kind of raise it up and do some ditch work and, so with talking with Tim, it'd be, just kind of
Why, you weren't here, and neither of them, I guess Chad's not here anymore either. I wonder why in the world we put a bridge up, a brand new bridge in it.
No, there's, so, on that road, it's still a 15-ton bridge there on 340th Street. We just did, put some bridge plank on it, cause I think with Highway 21 being out, there's more traffic on that. Even though it's a level B and we have a 15-ton bridge. I know, talking with Carl, he said, oh, it's getting a lot more traffic, and said there were some semis going around that way, and I thought to myself, I'm sure all of them were under 15 tons, which I have a hard time believing all those were under 15 tons. So we got, that's kind of the reason why we're fixing bridge plank and stuff like that, it's a bridge that's, just, I think we replaced like 7, because the wood thing, they were split down the middle, like one board was 2 boards with, because he was just trying to keep those plank down, but the wood's rotted through the almost, so.
So which is the bridge that was replaced down in that corner?
I believe it was
Going into Belle Plaine.
380th. So,
Okay, so
That down up at the sale barn, the old sale barn used to
Yeah,
be.
yep, Dan, yep.
so
Okay, so this is a totally different, road then.
Okay.
So that's north about, 3 or 4 miles.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we don't wanna reclassify that.
well, if he wants to reclassify it, we're gonna have to, he's gonna have to pay some money, which with a cost estimate I kind of laid out there, cause I'm just hesitant to just go ahead and put rock down, cause everybody on a level B will be like, oh, you're just putting rock down on level Bs, and we're gonna, costs will start adding up, so, it's kind of the reason why we have that, that road improvement policy, so
So what are you thinking, Dan?
Well, we don't have a cost estimate yet, do we?
Rock would be about, or overall about 22,000.
and then,
Rock hauling is 22,000.
No, so I have the rock cost there and the rock hauling cost. The rock would be about 2 1/4. I should have put that on there. 2 1/4 inch thick, which I feel like that's even maybe going a little too thin when we don't have too much rock previously. But that's
just by the looks of those pictures that you sent us, man, it looks like you're gonna do a lot of ditch work, huh?
Yeah, talking with Tim, he was 2 graders, an excavator, and a dump for 2 weeks, he thought would be and so that's where I guess you don't have it there, but I guess I'll send it to you via email, but got their kind of fringe benefits and all that sort of stuff in there for cost, and then have about a week of brush crew clearing all those trees and
end up with an awful lot of money tied up in that.
Yeah, well, that's with that, I guess with our level, where is it? Did I give you guys all? With the road improvement request policy, Tama County will perform a minimal amount of grading, brush, and minor culvert repair not to exceed 5,000. So whatever's over 5,000, the requester would have to come up with. So I'm planning on talking with Carl tomorrow and seeing if that's something he really wants to do, or
Okay, so this is something we'll probably should table.
I think so, because I was on a different road.
Yeah.
I was on the one down by the sale barn, Dan.
Okay, yeah, this was north, I think, a mile off of the
Yeah.
paved road there.
What's that small street?
That East 66.
Yeah.
I think a mile or two north, and then it goes back over to Highway 21.
Okay.
I was over there, looked at it with Carl a number of years ago, and it's going to need tremendous amount of work to get it back.
Okay.
I say,
Okay. So.
why don't we table it?
Okay, yeah, we'll table that one then. So.
That's all kind of what I had. So.
Okay.
Thanks, Ben.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Tammy.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have Abernathy land by me, and it's plastered with big, huge trees, and one is it's gonna come down anytime. It's gonna come down on my land, get into land, it's gonna come down on the road. Who's responsible for that if it, when that comes down? And how fast can you get out there and get that cleared?
Well.
It's just a mess, and they're not gonna do anything.
Well, we got the kind of brush crew we got right now. They're spraying the ditches, and once they're done spraying the ditches, we'll try to get to the different, trees that need to be cut. And what's this road?
It's 140th Street.
Okay. Between what?
Oh, it's T Avenue and whatever the other one is.
East or west?
It's
Well, I was just saying, you said whatever the other one would be S.
U or S.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. T Avenue is the same as mine, it doesn't even make sense, but, it's just this monster tree, and I mean, it's on their land maybe, or in the ditch, I'm not sure, but it's not gonna, it's a monstrous sugar maple, and it's gonna come over, and it's gonna be a huge mess, so I didn't know what the responsibility is of who.
I mean, if it's in the right of way, then yes, it'd be our responsibility. If it's outside of the right of way, and it does come down, obviously, we're gonna have to get it out of the right of way, and close the road, and.
Well, his whole frontage is terrible there, just tons of trees, and they come on the road, and, little stuff we just shove out of the way, but this is monstrous.
Okay.
If you just kinda check it out sometime. Iowa Electric just called and said they're coming around with their brush crews, their lines, where you're talking about, Carol? No.
Okay.
And then just my drive, they told them to get out, and there's a drive to a field, and there's a drive in the gardens, and it's just kind of right in the way of everything. The road you were just talking about, the level B road, is that the one that goes past Scholars up to the cemetery? Is that the one you're talking about?
What is that, I can't remember the town. Irving. It's by Irving.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, it's over by 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty much the last point you can turn.
Yeah.
Till get to 21. So.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Yep.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve this week's claims, which total, second here, Dan, I'll give you a total.
Thank you.
$253,919.96.
I'll make a motion that we accept the claims.
I will second that.
Moved and seconded to approve claims. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, I've got a couple minutes. Do we wanna just jump down and do that bench right now?
Yeah, what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna, the, bench for the courthouse lawn, Dirk, you're here, you're okay with it?
I have no problem with it. I would like to coordinate with them on where they put it, and I would like it put on a cement pad.
Yeah, and that'd be fine.
As long as you guys are all right, I'm leaving it in your guys' hands whether you approve it or not,
Yeah.
so.
And then just get with them and decide on a place to put it.
Okay.
Okay, I would ask for a motion to approve the, donate, or the bench for the courthouse lawn to commemorate the school.
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the, bench on the courthouse lawn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You are set, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay, now I gotta get this over to the paper and then we'll go to our economic development.
You wanna get your chair, because we're ready for you. We don't need this little chat stuff going on during our meeting.
Be careful, Ian. I know where you live. There's a shovel in the truck.
A very good solution.
You got it? Good.
At the rate this is going, I'm just gonna bury myself in the same hole.
The ordinance is gonna be 5-22.
Are they,
23.
we're gonna take or something?
So all the ones with dates on it, it's the Toledo Chamber of Commerce event. So every one of those links is the same, 27.
Oh, that's yeah, that's fine.
It's only those 2 days. That's all we're giving them. 27 and 28. And then everywhere else for the organizing committee, it would be Tama, Toledo Chamber of Commerce event committee. And I'm about to send this to you too, Lori. Okay.
That's gonna be sad.
And then the ordinance number,
Yep. And she gave it to me, so I typed it in.
it's gotta be, gotta be.
I guess we don't need to be in these meetings.
Oh, okay.
Are you okay?
No, so am I.
I need a resolution.
Okay, this
So it's gotta be ordinance number.
That's a lot of stuff I just, I guess I'll know the wrong road. I was on that road down by,
Sorry about that.
Delta Lane.
I'm thinking resolution,
The
sure.
one that goes to the,
Sale barn.
Sale barn.
Yeah, yeah, that's where we put that new bridge in. I think that's half. Maybe that was not be level B. Looked like it when we put the rock on it.
Yay.
okay, are we ready?
It's
9:45.
9:48.
It's 9:46. Right at it.
We need to.
That clock is slow.
We need to adjust that, baby.
Dirk, you gotta get the atomic clock to straighten our clock.
Tick.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of Boulder right away.
You have them in your phone?
Yeah, speed dial.
Okay, and you two are getting it right.
I think it's
Thanks, Matt, thank you.
Okay, I think we're ready to go, Dan.
Okay,
Hi Dan, it's Catherine, how are you this morning?
I'm well, Catherine, how about you?
Fantastic, fantastic. So today we are discussing the ordinance that we need to pass for the RAGBRAI event. We actually used the standard boilerplate ordinance that RAGBRAI gave us, and then we went back to the 2008 version that you guys passed. There were hardly any changes. It's pretty straightforward. It covers that Thursday the 27th, and then Friday the 28th is called out on there as well, because we will have some vendors who will get up early in the morning and sell coffee or snacks or breakfast as people get ready to leave town. The Tama Toledo Chamber of Commerce is your event committee, so that's who handles all of these vendor applications. And we're already starting to see those roll in You can get the vendor application from the website, from our local RAGBRAI website. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. And you guys will actually get the first pass at this, and then both the cities, Tama and Toledo, will be passing the same, virtually exact same version, but we may have a noise ordinance in the Toledo version, so that we can assure that things get quiet by about 11 p.m. at the latest.
So we need to set up a hearing for this, or is that?
You do. We need to set up a hearing, and then Tammy or I will be back again next week on Tuesday. This requires 3, but like in the city's case, they're going to waive 2 of the readings if there's no pushback, just to expedite it, because it's a 1-day ordinance.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping next week that you guys will consider waiving the next 2 readings. Otherwise, I will happily come every Monday for the next 3 weeks until we get this executed.
So we'll need to publish for this. So the first one, based on what I came up with our dates, would be June 12th at your regular meeting.
Okay.
And then the next one would be the 19th and the 26th. So I do think it's wise to go ahead and set up all 3 of them, and then you can always waive them, but at least you've already published them if you're gonna have to, visit it.
Yeah.
So 12th, 19th, 26th.
You need a motion.
I wish I had a choice.
I'll make the motion that we have the 12th, 19th, and 26th set for the ordinance RAGBRAI hearing.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to set the 3 dates for the RAGBRAI ordinance. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, and then the other part that goes with the RAGBRAI piece is we were gonna discuss, what we're gonna do with our employees on that day. We've discussed it with EMA, which roads are gonna be closed. 63 will be closed coming in. We are gonna have a problem probably getting our employees in, so the question is gonna be, how do we give them the time off? You can't, there was conversation about us giving them the day off if they would volunteer, but legally you can't do that. So you have to decide if we're gonna be open or not open. People aren't gonna be able to get here, first of all. Once anybody, you gotta remember, even though they're coming in on the 27th, where they're leaving on that morning, those people are gonna be here before the bike riders are here. So all of our campers, all that, everybody's gonna be here before that. So my recommendation would be not to work that day. I don't know how many people you could even get in here, and then the public isn't even gonna be able to get in.
What about the next morning?
The next morning, I don't know either about that.
It's gonna be a rat race the next morning. too.
Yeah,
You're
it
gonna have
is.
all the bikers getting out there, the vendors getting out. and the
Friday
support
morning,
vehicles.
all 4 lanes of 63 will be closed going south. So anyone that works south of us on Friday morning will have to come in, because it'll be all 4 lanes on Friday morning most likely.
So if we can't legally do the volunteer thing,
You can't force people to volunteer to give them a day off. That's like bartering. So
right.
you can't do that. I'm okay with it. We can close.
I am too, because we're gonna need a shitload of, pardon my French, but we're gonna need a shitload of help.
So we are.
Between the fire, EMS, taking care of these people.
Right. So I understand that, but legally you can't do that. So what am I saying? I'm saying you're probably going to want to give your employees off at least Thursday, Friday morning. If you can come, you can come. You'd have to use your own benefits, but I think the day that we're
Okay, the first.
I'm thinking the first day you're going to have to pay them. I just don't. There's no way to force your employees to not come to work and then make them use benefits. Because they could come to work, right? If they wanted to walk in or
if they wanted to,
bike in okay. So my suggestion would be to close us down on the 27th, the 28th. I believe if you can make it in the 28th, you make it in. If not, use your benefits that day. I don't don't know. I don't know what you think about the next day.
The next day is Harry.
So do both days? I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
And honestly, we don't have to decide today, guys, but
No, we've
start
got time.
But we
thinking
do
through
need-
what our options could be.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But we do need to make a decision at some point in time so that our offices know, so that we can make sure that our public people,
And the sooner the better.
the sooner the better, so that they know we're gonna be closed those 2
Right.
days or that one day.
So can we,
Because even our office that day, I mean, like, we've kind of warned everyone in our building, we're actually the volunteer check-in location. So we have Doug's parking lot just to the north of us, and then we also have Mike's parking lot just to the south of us. Those will be completely blocked off for nothing but volunteer parking, and every volunteer will come to, we're gonna take the screen off the window. And volunteers will actually come to our boardroom window from outside the building. There'll be a porta potty sitting there, bottles of water, and you'll check in there, get your badge, get your t-shirt, and then a cart will deliver you to wherever you belong in the community. So that particular Thursday, close to probably 200 people will have to get to just our building to check in.
so is this, should we put it on the agenda to talk about this thing?
Yes, yes. I just wanted to bring it up this week so that you
Yeah.
know, that gives you time to think about it, and then you can act on it next week.
And any leverage you can put on employees, like, when they say, like, it takes a village, they are not laughing.
Try
like,
it. Don't listen to her. Don't listen to her.
We need
no.
the volunteers desperately. It's a heavy lift for this county. We are
Yeah.
the smallest place that got picked by a long shot. And I don't want us to just pull it off. I want us to shine.
Richard, did you have?
Yeah, I realize this building's gotta be closed. I mean, you're not gonna have any business here that
No, it's
day.
gonna come that day they're gonna
But
avoid.
How do you handle the contract? Might I